This is KCR, the sound of state.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Mainstage Mavericks on KCR College Radio, the sound of state. This is our first show for a while, so very excited to be back here in the booth, and I'm really excited because I have a very, very talented young man with me. His name is Josh Concepcion, and he's written an original musical called To Be Alive. It's being produced by the Skull Dagger Dramatic Society at SDSU, coming to you in spring 2019, I believe, Josh?
Absolutely.
Absolutely, and we're really excited to see it and talk to Josh. Welcome, Josh.
Phillip, thanks for having me. This is amazing.
Oh, thank you. I was looking forward to interviewing you. Like the second I heard about your project, I'm like, I need to get him in.
Oh, dang! I feel so honored.
Oh, my pleasure. I've known you. I didn't really meet you until a year ago, but I kind of knew of you.
Yeah. I knew because we had some mutual friends.
Yeah, we had mutual friends.
A ton of mutual friends. Because I went to Coronado School of the Arts, and you went to
Canyon Crest Academy.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so I always had mutual friends there. And I remember I was in a production of Romeo and Juliet, and you were in a production of Grease.
Yes, I was.
Yeah, you were Danny Zuko, right?
Zuko, that was. Yeah, I was. That was fall 2016.
Fall 2016.
A couple years ago. Yeah. That was my senior year. That was an experience. I mean, it was great to play Danny Zuko. It was a cool thing to see everyone and how that whole show came together.
That's awesome. I know, throwback, right?
Absolutely. Dang, you just really threw me back right there.
Start with your beginnings. But you do musical theater. You also write and perform songs. You're on Spotify.
Yes, I am.
Can you tell me a little bit about your endeavors?
Yeah, so I started musical theater, or theater as a whole, a little late. I started, actually, funny story. The whole reason why I started acting and singing was 8th grade. There was this girl in my math class that I really had a crush on.
In 8th grade?
In 8th grade. And I started talking to her and everything. I sat next to her. And one day, we were just in the middle of conversation. I was solving my equations, and she was like, "Hey, do you sing?" And I was like, I mean, I dabble. I occasionally do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. She was like, "You should audition for the musical theater class because we're doing like a production in the spring, and we're gonna need more guys." And I was like, I mean, a couple hours with you every day. I mean, I'm not down. I'm not down. Like, sign me up. So I did, and I ended up getting like a fairly sizable role.
This was in middle school.
This is in middle school. This is at Coronado Middle School.
Oh, okay. Oh, so you live in Coronado.
Yeah. I went to Coronado my whole life, so
okay, gotcha.
It's a cool little town.
It's an amazing place.
It's
beautiful there.
Amazing place.
Yeah.
As I was saying, I got a sizable role in this production called Once on This Island at Coronado Middle School. I played Tauntaun Julian.
Oh.
And that was my first ever theater debut in the 8th grade. And I remember during the production, like during the rehearsal process, I was like thinking like, wow, like I'm actually enjoying this a ton. Like,
right.
I'm actually like enjoying this more than spending time with this girl. Like, no offense, girl. But I just fell in love. I fell in love with the performance aspect and like being with like your cast and that family that being in a show creates, especially spending so much time with them. And they were all amazing people. I connected with them and we had a lot of things in common. And after that, I decided to audition for the high school conservatory program at Coronado. And I mean, luckily I got in, and it's history from there.
Yeah, the rest is history. That's really awesome. I had similar experiences. I always loved the camaraderie there was in theater. I did North Coast Rep Theater School for a while, and we were different because we were a youth theater company that primarily, well, at least at the time, did primarily plays.
Yeah.
And so I did a lot of plays, and I never really did musicals when I was younger, and I still don't. I've done like 4 musicals in my entire life.
Really?
Yeah, just a lot of plays, a lot of Shakespeare, a lot of just random stuff like that.
You were recently in at the Coronado Playhouse, right?
Yeah, I was in Macbeth at Coronado Playhouse.
Dang.
And so that was always go over the bridge every day, look at the sunsets. It was beautiful. I went to that Starbucks right at the corner.
On Orange, right?
Yep, on Orange Avenue.
Dang, no better place.
Yeah. One time I rented out some bikes at Holland's.
At Holland's?
Yeah.
No, I know some guys there that if you ever want, we can go bike for free.
Really?
We can get some tandem bikes.
I remember I've seen a couple of your clips from your music videos, and there's shots of people riding bikes through Coronado. And so I figured, those are probably your bikes. Those aren't from Holland's, but
absolutely Holland's.
Absolutely Holland's.
Absolutely Holland's. Shout out Holland's. Thank you for the sponsor. JK, you're not sponsoring me. Please sponsor me.
Let's talk about you.
Okay, let's talk about me.
To be alive.
To be alive.
Oh,
wow, what a time to be alive right now. Is all I can say.
What is to be alive?
Well, first off, it's a very ambitious project that I started when I was in high school. A little backstory if you don't mind. When I was a junior in high school, I read this study in one of my English classes, and it was just completely random. My English teacher just gave it to me. He was like, hey, I think you'd be interested in this. And I read it, and it was a super fascinating article about stress levels in college, especially in our generation, like in the past 10 years. And basically what it said was students and like high school and college in like the past like decade or so in our generation is facing an exponentially higher level of stress than those in years past, in decades past. And a lot of it is attributed to societal stigmas of knowing what you want to do from an early age and knowing your plan and always knowing everything from like a planned standpoint. And looking at it and comparing it to like what I was seeing with my friends and stuff, it kind of made sense. Like everyone was freaking out everyone was afraid of the future and the uncertainty of life and not knowing what am I going to do for a living? Like what is my job? Where am I going to college? All that kind of thing. And like that's stress. And I thought, wow, that's like very like applicable. I could write a show about that. Yeah. And writing a show was something I like teeter-tottered over like during high school. Like I knew I kind of wanted to write a play. Because I mean I saw a ton of original musicals and original plays like when I was growing up and stuff. Right. I was like, wow, like I could really like share a message or share something that like I find really important to me. And my girlfriend at the time, when I was a junior, she just said, what are you waiting for? Just do it.
Yeah, you just gotta
like,
write it out.
Start. Like, what are you waiting for? And I was like, dang. So,
I always felt that when I was writing, because I've written quite a few plays.
Yeah,
they've all been one-act plays. I haven't written a feature-length show as you have done.
Dang.
I can't even. Yeah, I've written the longest play I've written is like an hour long, and no songs in there. No songs or dance numbers.
There was a huge learning curve for me because I mean I've never written like any script before.
Oh wow.
Before I wrote To Be Alive. I mean I guess I wrote like a scene or two for like a comedic like comedy sketch or something.
And you have experience writing songs because you've written original songs.
Yeah. I've been playing the piano since like I was a kid, and I got
guitar too.
I picked up the guitar when I was in middle school. Wow. So I mean I kind of like played around with just like making my own melodies and rhythms and writing, and I've always written poetry. That's something
that's awesome.
that I've always done like since middle school.
I've dabbled in poetry. It's nice.
It's very refreshing.
It's therapeutic. You write it out, and it gets the words out of your mind that you don't want to say out loud. And
absolutely,
it's nice.
I have like a folder at home with all like poems that I wrote when I was like 10 years old, and it's just like the leaves fall on the sullen ground, and the walls are red with angst. And I was just like, what am I doing?
I was in 6th grade, and I was an aspiring rapper, right?
No.
And my rapper name was Phil Star with a Z and 2 R's, like Phil Star. And I had all these rap songs, and one of them I wanted to sample Sunglasses at Night by Corey Hart. Oh, you know that song?
Yes.
I wanted to sample that, and I had like this rap, and it was like, the moon shines on the rims of my aviators, all my clothes are made from the skins of alligators. Like it was insane.
You're a kook.
I was spitting rhymes.
You're spitting rhymes?
Yeah.
I can imagine like little Phillip just dropping bars, sunglasses on, just
It was ridiculous. But yeah, but it all ties back to you just gotta write it. You gotta fail first before you can really,
absolutely.
Yeah.
And like that being said, like there's so many drafts of the show.
I'm sure.
I mean, I remember writing the opening number and the opening scene at least like 20 times through, like completely trashed and scrapped and redone again.
You've been working on it since high school.
Since high school, yeah. So I've been working on it for, I think, when it opens, I think it'll be like 3 years since I started.
Wow.
Yeah, it's been a lot of patience, a lot of courage, honestly. Like
Yeah.
I didn't really think I could do it. Just a lot of sticking through it and everything.
Did you have a lot of mentors? Like, did you
Yeah,
have people
I mean,
read it? And
I did actually. My shout out Barbara Wolf. She was my COSA director.
okay, I think I've heard her name.
Yeah, she like directed all my shows and everything. She was a huge like motivator for me to keep doing this. Same with my parents. Like pretty much like I did it for them. Like they're like my backbone. They're inspiring like throughout this entire process. And even after even when I started my freshman year at State, when I was still like finishing writing it, a lot of the professors here really like motivated me through, because I talked to them about it, kind of helped like ask for some like thoughts, opinions, and workshops on some of the scenes, some of the songs, and they gave a ton of good feedback, a ton of good like, hey, I think you should do this. I think that if you start steering this or that this way, then you might get this better, or just a ton of just little things that all added up to this amazing production that I hope turns out well.
I'm sure it will. And so you are having it produced through Skull and Dagger.
Just Skull and Dagger, yeah.
So they're the independent theater company at San Diego State. Ross Graham's the artistic director. He's directing your production.
Absolutely.
Correct.
Yep.
And so you had to present it to them.
Yeah,
right?
I did. So last April, so I finished the show last March of 2018, and finished being in like parentheses because I'm still like
since then you've continued like working
absolutely
on it.
Continued like revising all the little things that we've had readings throughout this entire process. So
Right.
there's always like little things like, oh, I think I can change this, or I've even like thrown out songs, added new ones. But
You gonna pull a Lynn and act in it too, or
dude, I don't know.
You don't know
I
yet?
don't know. I don't think that's my question to answer.
Okay.
Time
will tell.
Time will tell, buddy. But as I was saying, I finished the show in March, and then in April, I thought of like a ton of like places where I was like, hey, I have this finished show. I should start like pitching it to theater companies and theaters like around the city, or even just like school wide, to see what I can come up with. And I did. I sent it to a couple like theaters like here, and I sent it to like a couple in LA, a couple in San Francisco.
You presented it, and Ross said, "Oh wow, Josh, incredible! I've never read anything like this." And
absolutely, just like that.
Yeah,
just like that,
verbatim. Those are the words he
just
used.
Just like that. So I knew Skull and Dagger because I saw a couple of their productions. I saw I think it was Coyote on a Fence, my freshman year, and I really like what they did. It really looked just like a Mainstage SDSU like production.
Yeah, they have some really brilliant ideas that they do with this show. They're opening a new show soon.
Picasso. Yeah.
And who's that? And Einstein at
And
the
Einstein.
Lapine Agile.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And they did a production of Martin McDonagh's The Pillow Man with an all-female cast.
That was super impressive.
I didn't get to see it.
I was
out of town that weekend.
Super impressed with that show. What they did with the set, they had these curtains in the back, and they had like projections or like silhouettes. They had like lights in the back, and they had actors like play silhouettes of the stories that they were telling. In addition to like the actors in like downstage. And I thought the directing on that was super, like, it was incredible, and it was super innovative, and it was super unique, and I've never seen anything like it in a black box. And same goes with like the lighting design and the costume design. It was all super exquisite. And Ross directed that show.
Yes.
And I knew after I saw that show, and I was about to propose the show to Skull and Dagger, I asked Ross, and I said, hey, do you want to be my director for this? He said, absolutely.
You said, you're my man.
You're my man. You are my mans. And I had to draft up like this 10-page proposal of like what the show was, why is it important now in today's culture and today's time, why we should do it, like a quick synopsis. And I had to like put together a couple demos of what the show sounded like.
A quick synopsis.
Quick synopsis.
You were telling me that it dealt a lot with stress in college and what you want to do with your life.
It's a show about the unknown and the fear of the future and the unknown and uncertainty, and how to and embracing that.
It's certainly timely because a lot of people with each new generation, they say things like, oh, we had it so much harder and this and that. And like everyone always says that. We're already like, for us, we're already saying that to 10-year-olds because, oh, you have it so much easier because we didn't have this when we were 10 or whatever. But it's, in a way, it gets harder, I know exactly what you're saying. With every passing year, like, college is much harder to get into. Like, SDSU is a lot harder to get into than it was 10 years ago. I can't even imagine, like, 10 years from now how that's going to be. And so there's just a lot more competition and so much pressure too. And because of social media, everybody's success and failure and everything is broadcast to the world. Exactly. And so you're constantly living in this state of, oh my gosh, like, Josh, he's doing so much better than me because he's got a musical being produced, and where's my where's my musical?
No,
so
got it. Yeah, you got exactly what I'm trying. Yeah,
and so who's your protagonist in the show?
So the story is about this 20-year-old named Ben Carter, and he decides to drop out of college his sophomore year in order to move to San Francisco, California with his then girlfriend at the time, Emily, in hopes to become a writer. And the story kind of follows his transition from moving in the first place and kind of realizing that I don't really know what I'm doing. And as he tries to become a writer, it follows his story of figuring out what it means to be a dreamer in our modern society when he faces constant failure at his wake, and what revolves around that in terms of society and pressure and social media. Social media is a big factor in how, like, even like just as an aside today, like, social media plays a huge part in our society. And it's interesting to me just seeing how much it's like a double-sided sword almost with social media, because it's so powerful. You can do so much with social media and technology that, like, it can almost be someone's demise.
It certainly can.
And that was just one of the topics I wanted to talk about with the show is how social media, and not only just social media, but how technology and modernization, all that kind of thing, is great. Like, it's an amazing thing, but I think that there's a limit.
There certainly is a limit.
There's a line. And that's the hardest part, is what is that limit? What is that line? And how do we apply that?
When I'm on Facebook, I scroll through a lot of posts, right? Yeah. And there's so many people that I'm acquaintances with on Facebook, and I know everything about their lives. Yeah. And they have no idea.
Exactly.
And I don't think people think about that. But because, like, you run into someone and you ask them, oh, how is this and this going? And they think, oh, how do they know that? And it's, oh, you're posting it on social media. Like, the whole world knows everything you're doing all the time. I've been snoozing quite a few people as of late. We're all snooze them for 30 days, because there's people I'm friends with on Facebook that I friended in middle school or something. Wow. And I haven't talked to them in a long time. And so it's, they don't really know me. I don't really know them. So it's like this, because it used to be, oh, you'd run into, all these acquaintances at high school reunions or around college, just randomly bumping into them. But now everyone's stuff is broadcast to the world all the time. And there's so many pressures and things. And some people are able to utilize social media to a great, wonderful advantage, where you, for instance, you're a musician and you make these songs and you advertise it on your Instagram and on Spotify and all these great things. But it's also it is a double-edged sword. Yeah. Because I remember in high school, everyone had their Finstas, their private Instagrams.
Is that even still a thing?
It is. I mean, I have one. Yeah. But I treat it like a joke. Like most of it it's just like a meme page where I'm like, oh, look what I'm eating today. Dang. I treat it like my Twitter.
Should I make one? Should I make one right now?
You should. Just to be alive. Working on to be alive.
To be dead?
Day 83.
Day 83. Oh man. I'm excited. I mean, we actually have like a team to do like behind the scenes and stuff. Like for the rehearsal process and all.
They're gonna film it?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
So I mean, that's gonna be unique. I've never done anything like that before.
That's smart, because I've been I've directed I directed 2 shows for the San Diego International Fringe Festival,
All right.
and both times I was like, oh, I should have filmed more shots because I
know
filmed
exactly
the
what you're
performances, but I wish I could have brought someone in to just film, rehearsals and everything. Because I look at the clips now and it's so cool to look back on it, and I'm sure, and for your like repertoire, like I'm sure you'll do shows in the future, and so for you to be able to look back at that and see, oh my gosh, everyone's so young and pure, and so much hope in their eyes. And,
so much hope in their eyes.
So that will be fun.
Yeah, it'll be cool. Especially since To Be Alive is still like a living, breathing work, and I mean nothing's ever final. I feel like
I'm sure. I'm sure. Like once it premieres and you have your performances, you might think, oh, more ideas I have in my mind for this. And,
exactly. I mean.
Sound like Yoda. Oh, more ideas I have in my mind for this.
Ross made a huge point that during the rehearsal process that he's always open to like rewriting something or adding something in, and I think that's like the coolest thing ever. I mean, I don't know if the actors will enjoy that, if they're gonna have to like memorize like 3 new scenes or something, but it's cool, especially the collaborative part of being part of a new show. Everyone has cool ideas and everyone has amazing insights and different perspective. That's what I'm trying to say with
I remember on Facebook, his name is Vin Nguyen. Yeah, I remember he was adding comments about your show, since it took place in San Francisco.
Exactly.
He was adding different ideas onto casting and what you could do with that, and so people were contributing, and it was cool because you seem like the kind of person that's like really open with collaboration and whatnot.
Absolutely.
You're not like, don't tell me what to do.
No, I that's like part of why I love theater so much, is just the collaborative aspect of it. Like it's not, I mean, unless it's literally a one-man show, it's never like a one-man show. Even when it is like a one-man show, you always have like people behind the scenes. You always have tech. You always have all the designers. It's such like a process that involves like being a part of a team. You can't just put on a show by yourself. And
Desha Crownover was my director for Macbeth at Coronado Playhouse. Do you know her? She did a lot of stuff at San Diego Junior Theater.
Okay.
And so she was the director for the show, but it was she was always open to like our ideas. And if they didn't work, they didn't work, but she was really open to different ideas with our characters or blocking or stage combat. And so it felt like a really great, process where we all trusted each other and we all became super close and we're all able to contribute this, and she was our guiding force. So that was the best, because I've been in rehearsals or like shows where it just felt toxic because it was so controlling, and it felt like, I'm offering nothing here. I'm just a robot. They're just telling me where to like pick up a glass and put it down. And
I feel like the shows that I haven't enjoyed as much as others were the ones that I felt had too much micromanaging in terms of like blocking, like characterization, where the director was like, yeah, at this specific instant, like when she flips the bottle, I want you to be scared, and then, I mean, sure, I guess that can look good in terms of painting a picture, but I like just creating a character for yourself and having that part of that freedom of that naturalistic part of theater and acting, especially when you like go on a stage and stuff.
I've been guilty of micromanaging a few times in my productions, but I've since relaxed in that regard. But it's always important to establish, okay, I know I'm the same age as you. However, like in this space, in this room, I am the director, and I've got these ideas for this, but I do want people to play around and offer more things to the table, because it's really, you can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
Lin-Manuel Miranda, he didn't direct Hamilton too. I mean, he had someone else do it.
It's not like he just like wrote that entire show and acted as the lead. But he didn't direct it.
He didn't direct it, so he didn't do everything.
He did do everything.
You get your. Are there dance numbers in the show? Do you have a choreographer?
There is no dance numbers in the show. There is.
Is it kind of It's like an Edges kind of musical.
Sure, yes. Edges. Well, that's more.
It's like a stripped down musical. It's not like a big like.
Oh no, it's not like a huge. It's not like a huge like show, like a show musical. It's more like
It's like an indie musical.
If I was to compare it to a show, it's more like a Next to Normal.
Oh,
or
a second, yeah.
Or a Dear Evan Hansen, where it's just I really want the story to shine through, and like
it's intimate.
Absolutely. I mean, there's obviously like fun, light songs at times. Like there's a song where one of the leads, his name is Dylan. He's Ben's best friend. He sings one of the most passionate songs about a cinnamon roll. And that's
about how much you love cinnamon rolls.
How much he loves cinnamon rolls. Well, I mean, he compares it to a situation that Ben's having. Like he uses that as like a metaphor. But
okay.
The show has its fun, light musical theater chimes.
It's mostly a drama, though.
It's mostly a drama. Yeah. It takes on like an interesting arc throughout the show, and I mean, by the end, I mean, once you go see it, once everyone comes see it,
hey,
tell me for yourself what you think.
I don't think I'm going to be able to see it, though.
Oh no! Well, because you're going to be
I'm going to be in Italia.
Oh,
yeah. So maybe someone can send me a bootleg.
Oh, we'll obviously have some bootlegs. I'll bootleg my own show for you.
Oh yeah, perfect. Hold up your iPhone.
I will. I will. I mean, say I won't.
You'll have Patty LuPone like, put that phone down.
Goodness.
It's when you're in the writing room or like your bedroom.
The writing room.
Yeah, the writing room.
There's been multiple writing rooms actually.
Multiple writing rooms. Do you like to write in solitude? Do you go to a coffee shop? Do you?
I'm not gonna lie. Most of the writing I've done for the show was in my bedroom. Yeah, you're right. Was in my bedroom because in my bedroom I have a piano in there right next to my bed. It's just so convenient, so nice.
Yeah.
You know.
So you read sheet music and everything, and so
yes, that was actually one of the biggest learning curves I had when I was writing the show. I mean, I've played like instruments my entire life, but I was never really a strong sight reader per se.
Right.
Nor was I really a strong like music like notator, like putting music on sheet music.
Some people, it's all the sounds and everything they can hear. Yeah, because I know that Frank Sinatra couldn't really read music, but he just had an ear for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's legendary. I did not know that.
And I know another thing, Mel Brooks, during the producers, he didn't know, he couldn't read or write music, right?
Really?
And so what he would do is that he would like hum it into a recorder and send it to, whoever was working on the music with him. And so that's how they would come up with the composition.
Interesting.
He had it in his head, but he didn't have the knowledge to write it down.
Dang, the more you know.
Yeah.
But then they came up with like that amazing piece.
Yeah, it's very clever, and people are able to surprise you in that regard. But it definitely So it helped with the process of the show. It helped you read music better.
Yeah. So I mean, I could read music before. I just wasn't really. That wasn't my strong suit. And when I committed myself, when I said, "Okay, Josh, I'm gonna write a musical," I immediately went to the bookstore and bought like 3 books on music theory.
Oh.
And I I took like a music theory class in high school. So I really had to sharpen up my abilities.
What
per se.
is music theory?
It's just like knowing all the notations and the theory, like literally of music and the scales, and knowing how each note, like how certain qualities of music like play with each other and against each other and contrasts. And there's a ton of terms. Like I'm not even gonna lie, like even though I've like been doing this, I've only like scratched the surface of music theory and all like the theory that there is, because you can go into like I don't even know, like I can make
I love music so much. It's all so different, and there's so many layers and elements to it, and I have a very eclectic music taste.
Mm-hmm.
I love everything from classical music to Lil Peep. And I was listening to his he has a posthumous album that just got released.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's like Come Over If You're Sober Part 2.
Okay.
And it's all these songs he recorded before his death, and they released another album.
Wow.
It's eerie. It's eerie when that happens.
Interesting.
When posthumous albums release. It's a crazy time.
Now that you mentioned Lil Peep, I've never really understood the trend of Lil Blank and like just
Me
always
neither.
Lil.
Like Lil Josh, Lil Phil.
Like Lil Phil. Honestly,
Lil Phil.
that could catch on.
That could work.
That could catch on.
I don't know how that stemmed. It must have been something in the 90s that was
Lil.
Yeah.
The other day I saw an artist named Lil Toenail.
Little Toenail.
Little Toenail. I mean, if you guys want to, check them out. But I mean,
my friends are in AE Pi, the frat.
Yeah.
And they said they were at a party where there was this DJ, and it wasn't a DJ, but it was a group. Like, you know how there's two, like the Chainsmokers are two guys.
Yeah.
So it was two guys that were both DJs in this one group, and their group name was Phillip. Like just Phillip.
Just Phillip?
Just Phillip.
Even though there was like more than one guy?
Yeah, just Phillip. And they were telling me about this. And I said, "Oh, that's how bizarre."
I mean, I'm not down.
Yeah, it's a cool name. When I write plays, I like to. There's this place we used to go to a lot. We had like these friends that had a little place in Mammoth, California.
Wow.
So we'd go up there and we'd ski, and it's so quiet and it's cool when it snows. And I'd always like write something when I was up there. So I just like the environment of it. And I would write really fast when I was up there too. But for me, like deadlines really help.
Yeah.
I'll have a deadline in my mind, like, okay, I'm gonna write for sure like 15 pages by this day.
Dang.
Or that, and because I'm so sporadic.
Dang, I don't know how you do that. I can never write on a deadline.
No,
I just couldn't, like, even just thinking of, like, I have this deadline, I couldn't do it.
For me, I guess like throughout my whole life, I've been guilty of like procrastinating.
Okay.
And so
me too.
Yeah, I had this show, and I was almost did the San Diego Fringe Festival last year.
Yeah.
But a lot of elements fell through, and I wasn't able to get the people I wanted, and my director had to drop out last minute.
All right.
But when I was contacting him and I was asking him, "Oh, do you want to direct my show?" He said, "Oh, I'd be super interested. Just let me read the script first." And I didn't have the script done.
Oh.
And so in 6 days, I fleshed out my 60-page script, and it was crazy.
Goodness.
I was like working like to the like teeth and bone, like working to finish this, and I did, and it wasn't like the best product in the world, but it surprised me in the sense that, like, deadlines help for me, because if I just say to myself, "Oh, I'm gonna write a new script," and I don't know, I have no sense of when I'm ever gonna put this up, like it's not gonna get done for me.
Dang.
Yeah.
When I was writing To Be Alive, there would be like months, like a couple months sometimes, where I didn't write anything because I wasn't like inspired by anything, and I didn't have anything in mind. And even when I tried like writing something and forcing myself to write, it would just be straight garbage.
Mm-hmm.
And it was kind of tough throughout that process of finding like the motivation, the inspiration to keep on going and keep going through this, especially in the beginning when I started. I mean, I knew I had this long journey if I wanted to write a full-length musical.
Right. And
I mean, I had to find inspiration in like the most random of places. I mean, obviously, like sometimes I would just be like taking a shower or something, and I would just think of like a melody in my head, like, and I just hop out, just started like writing on the spot. Or I remember one time I was in my political science class freshman year, and I haven't written anything in like a month, and I was just stuck on this one part in Act 2 of just how to start Act 2 was what I was stuck on, because I already written Act 1 before I started freshman year. And then freshman year, I was like, okay, I need to write Act 2. But I have no idea where to start.
You have the idea, and you're just, wait, but there's more elements
to fill in.
They gotta work. And
I was in my political science class, and then all of a sudden she said, like, the political science teacher said something about, like, tostadas or something. And I was like, there it is. Okay, wait. That means no, I did not write about tostadas, but something just clicked in my head about how to start this act with this like cooking scene and stuff with the two like protagonists, and immediately I just got up and left. I had to.
You had to. I've been in those moments where I was about to fall asleep at night, and I had like these ideas, and I said to myself, well, great. And I would get up and I'd write it down really quick, and I'd go back to bed. But I've had many dreams. I have like really vivid dreams.
Wow.
And so I'll have these dreams where they're just like the weirdest scenarios, and I think, wow, this would be perfect like in a play, and I incorporate it into whatever like I'm working on, and it's able to
really,
yeah, it's able
Dang.
to. I had this dream where
that's a story.
I had this dream where I was backstage in the dressing room, and someone came in, and we were all talking and whatnot. Then our director came in and was like criticizing us, and then they passed out, and this is all in the dream. And then I'm like, oh my God, they're having a heart attack. We need to get them to the hospital. And then nobody wanted to help like them out because they didn't like them. And
wowza.
Yeah, and then I incorporated that entire thing into like this show I wrote for. It was my senior thesis at the time called Fulcrum. And so I was able to incorporate that. But it was like, I get, like ideas just like stem from the most random of places.
Absolutely. And I feel like that's just the story of like this entire show.
But musicals, songs, like that is tough. Are there harmonies? Are there?
Yeah, there's harmonies. There's full chorus songs at some points. Like the end of Act 1 is this huge like orchestrated like vocal like almost like an opera of just people just belting at one point. And it's been so fun to write because being in musical theater in high school and everything, and being I'm a baritone. That's like my.
You're a baritone?
I'm a baritone, yeah.
I thought you were like a baritone.
You can say that.
Yeah, you
can say that. I
go both ways.
Is baritone like an actual term?
It's like, I guess it's a deeper tenor, but it's still someone that could hit some tenor notes. Yeah. I don't know.
In Edges, I was pretty much like baritone.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking about in Edges.
Yeah, I had some G's. I had some G sharps.
I'm like a bass.
But the high register was never always my strong suit. And writing this musical, Ben is a tenor. He's just a full on tenor. I just think it's so fun to write like songs where like that I could never sing. Because like I'll be like, I can't sing this, but I'll live it through what I write. So Ben sings some good notes. He sings like just an A. He sings like an A sharp at one point. He belts. Oh, wow. He goes off.
Wow.
Ben goes off. So Ben needs to be a strong singer.
So if Ben Platt walked in and was like,
if Ben Platt walked in, I don't know what I'd do. I don't know what I'd do.
Say, what are you doing here?
I'd be like, what are you doing here? I'd be like, come give me a hug right now. I think I would peak if I saw Ben Platt.
Is Ben Carter definitely the hardest role to sing in the show?
Yes, I think just barely edges by Olivia. Olivia is the female protagonist in the show too.
Is that his girlfriend?
That's another woman in the show.
Oh,
who you guys will find out what she becomes at the show.
That's ominous. All right.
I'm trying not to give any spoilers.
I know. It's so soon.
I'm trying to give some. I know it's really coming.
And this is you probably. You probably answered a lot of questions about this musical before, but I know it's interesting in this setting. So I'm figuring out what I can ask and what I cannot ask. So
please ask away.
It works. Do you know? Do you have a set budget for the show?
I actually don't know that. Actually, I know Skull and Dagger. They're talking about it and all that.
But it takes place modern day.
It takes place modern day.
So yeah, people could just work.
Costumes should be literally we can just pull from people's closets.
It's not like 17th century.
Elizabethan to be alive in the 17th century.
To be alive.
To be alive. Yeah. To be alive, bro. So that should be fairly simple and like furniture and set wise. I don't know what they're cooking up. We have designers coming in next week. So we'll have to send them the script, and they'll have some visions. They'll have some good drawings, some good renderings of what.
Does Skull and Dagger, do they get funding? So since they're a club, there's officially a club of San Diego State. Yeah. Do they get some sort of club funding?
I think so.
Do you also have donors like for their productions? Do they?
Yeah, they do take donations. I know at some of their events they advertise like if you want to donate here or
right. If I wanted to make a donation, I could.
You could just Venmo. SDDS SDSU.
Sweet. And it would go to good cause.
Go straight to be alive.
Go to Ben Carter's Gucci's.
Just every penny donated to SDDS SDSU will be donated to Ben Carter's Gucci slides in the show.
I want every character in the show to wear Supremes. Josh, I don't know if we can do that. No, it's going to happen.
Only Supremes.
Supremes.
I'm rewriting the show. Everyone is a hype beast.
To be alive.
Champion or bust. Sorry.
Champion or bust. Power moves only.
Power moves only.
Yeah. We had an interesting scenario last week because I was going to interview you last week, but then I had lost my red ID, which is the SDSU student ID card. I'm holding it in my hand right now. Look at my smiling face. And I wasn't able to get in because they didn't put me in the system. And so we were outside, and that was the first time I'd sort of talked to you about To Be Alive.
It was.
And they were interesting. There were some points and everything. But yeah, it's good to finally like know about it, because I'd heard I'd seen so many advertisements on Facebook, but I still didn't really. I sort of had read the Ben Carter kind of like synopsis a little bit.
Yeah, I can like pull up the synopsis.
Sure, we can show it to our listeners.
Show it to our listeners
with our words.
Speak it through the airwaves.
Yeah, transcribe it as far as we can.
I mean, absolutely.
I was but I'm very impressed with all this. It's really cool, because the first time I'd heard about it, I'd seen I'd seen you, and you were dressed. It was crazy because I ran into. Oh, you're gonna hand it to me? Perfect. Oh, here we go. To Be Alive. Oh, auditions in late fall 2018.
Oh yeah, so we're auditioning this Friday actually.
This Friday.
Oh
my gosh.
If you guys want to sign up.
That would be November 18th? 16th. 16th. I think it's 16th. Yeah, that sounds about right. Ben Carter, Emily Rhodes, Olivia Lawrence, Dylan Collins, Doug Carter, Ben's father. Ben's father comes in the fray. Whoa, an ensemble speaking roles of 4 to 5.
Absolutely.
So they're not singing?
They do sing. And speaking roles means like they have some lines too. They're not just scrubs like sitting on the bench or something.
Excuse me, can I have my key for the building? You haven't paid your rent, Ben.
Actually, like low key, there is a character like that though.
Really? Yeah. I'm just trying to think. Let's see. San Francisco. One, expensive. Two.
It is.
Oh man,
it is.
I think it's the most expensive city in the U.S.
It's tough. That's why like in the beginning of the show, like you just see because Ben and Emily aren't making a lot of money to begin with. So you see from the beginning that they're having a rough go, and because they live in Oakland, just a little far away from San Francisco. Still, I still consider that a little bit like relatively
Bay
Area. They start off pretty rough, and you can see immediately that Emily isn't having a good time, and that's kind of how their conflict starts to roll into a big snowball.
Yeah, money causes a lot of conflicts.
You'd be surprised.
Yeah,
you'd be surprised.
And then mo money, mo problems. It's unfortunate.
Say that again.
I don't know how to work your iPhone 10. I'm sorry, X. It's
my iPhone
different.
X.
iPhone X.
Is it X? I think it's 10.
Is it 10?
I think they say 10.
I'm stupid. I don't know. I'm a plebeian. I don't know. It's all right. I'll hand it back to you.
Okay.
But yeah, this is. I'm handing back Josh's iPhone. This is happening. Olivia Lawrence. Oh, Olivia Lawrence. They're not married yet.
They're not. Whoa.
I don't know anything though.
Whoa, chill.
From the start, when you were showing it to people, was there always a good reception, or were there certain people that were like, Josh, like, what are you doing?
Well, funny you say that. When I started doing readings of the show, I started last February. I started doing readings just with other people I knew or actors just around campus, or even actors around San Diego. Thankfully, it's gotten great reception. Like people have been saying that it's been like a great story. It's been a great. It was a great experience to read part of it, and they thought it was very meaningful and very applicable to like today's world. And but there has been a couple people who just been like, Josh, what are you doing?
Really?
Yeah. I'm not even kidding, like quote unquote. I had this reading in March, and the guy who played Doug Carter, he went up to me after the show. He was like, hey, like props to you for doing this. This is a really great piece and everything. I'm just what happened? Like
what happened?
What happened? That's what he said. He just stuttered. He was just like, what happened?
Did you think it was bad?
I mean, I don't know, but then after that, I was like, well, what do you mean? He was just like, I don't know. And then he left.
That's so weird.
It was so weird, and I never heard from him again. I emailed him just to follow up,
vague.
to see if he had any notes or anything. But
Yeah.
he just never did anything.
Gosh.
He just looked at me and said, "What happened? Like, what if he had like my my director at the time, who was no, I mean not director. He was just like kind of like my right hand man. Like before Skull and Dagger ever like decided to put it up, he was just like, what if he just like had amnesia and just forgot everything, and he just like blacked into this whole experience.
Is it Ben Carter had amnesia?
No, the guy who played Doug, who was just like, what happened?
Oh, he just like blacked out during the. Like he has no recollection of what he just performed.
What he just performed. He's just like, what happened? And then he leaves.
Me during readings every time. Just what am I saying? What?
But I've been super grateful for everyone who's been part of the readings. We've had, I think, like 10 readings to this point.
Yeah.
Including the ones we've had here at San Diego State. And every single time we've had like super powerful discussions afterwards of the show and things to improve.
Its themes.
Its themes, exactly. And I always asked all the actors, like, what did you think? What do you think of the ending? What do you think are the most powerful things that stood out to you?
So you'd say that it's a realism musical.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
100%. It's completely realism, and it's really like built upon that structure.
My former high school, Canning Crest Academy.
Yeah.
Lately, there's been a lot of issues with mental health and whatnot, and there were actually a couple students that took their lives this year.
Oh wow.
Which is insanity.
Sorry to hear that.
Because that never happened while I was there.
Yeah.
But just like a lot of the environment and the pressure to succeed and know like exactly what you want to do, and just with your career and your future, and everything's got to be perfect, and you can't screw anything up, because then everything will fall into place. Like there's an immense just pressure that's really like toxic, especially when people don't really know how to deal with it. And they don't know how to talk about like how they're feeling.
Yeah, I touch about that in my show. Through Ben and some other characters, and I kind of shine a light on that whole aspect of mental health and its importance, and kind of not to just let it slip, not to just let it slide, because I mean everyone matters, your voice is important, and you're important just as anyone else. And
totally. Adrian Alita, professor at SDSU, he has his little email signature, and it says, "Who you are is enough."
That's huge.
And that's powerful
huge.
stuff.
I mean, to be fair, that's one of the like highlighted themes in To Be Alive is, no matter what you do, no matter how many successes, no matter how many failures you have, everything's gonna be all right.
Yeah,
you're gonna be okay. Because who you are literally is enough.
Yeah, people need to realize when they go on social media, what you're seeing is a highlight reel
of
everybody's lives, and everyone has different, ups and downs throughout.
Exactly. And people who are already, say, like worrying about their future and their plan and insecure about that kind of thing, social media only amplifies that, because, like what you said, it's basically just a highlight reel of everyone else, and it only further isolates other people.
Yeah, I'm 20 years old, and there's already been so many times in my life where I'm like, no, like I was supposed to achieve this by this age, and whatnot. I'm supposed to be at this path. And then I have other people that say, you're very lucky that you found like your passion, what you enjoy doing from an early age. Because there's some people that don't really find things they like to do at all. And then they go through aimlessly, trying to figure out like, I guess I'll do this job because it makes money or whatever, but I don't know if I enjoy it or not. And then some people discover passions like much later in life, and they think like, I really wish I would have discovered this when I was younger. And so
that's so interesting to say that. There's literally a scene in the show based on like what you just said.
Really?
Like a conversation between.
I swear I've never read the script. I've never.
I believe it. I mean, I guess I'll take that as a good thing.
Yeah, it's I like that you have that.
Yeah.
I guess spoiler alert.
Spoilers.
No,
Spoilers.
Skip over this part.
Spoilers.
Yeah, but it's and like for you, like were you always was it always a hobby, or was it a passion in the sense that this is what you love to do?
I mean, if it happens, I would absolutely love to do this as a career.
Right.
I mean, writing stories has become a huge passion of mine. Ever since I found out the platform I can create in sharing like stories and sharing meaningful messages that I've always like wanted to tell people. And if anything, like what I take from this is, even if this doesn't become like big or anything, or if it becomes like a huge like failure or whatever, I'm just happy I did for me.
Right. That's important.
Because this show means the world to me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like my baby.
Oh yeah, it's a 3-year-old.
It's a 3-year-old.
It's a 3-year-old. It's a 3-year-old toddler.
It's my toddler walk. It's about to walk on its legs, on its first legs.
Actually, it's already been walking.
Right, dude.
It's already been walking.
It's been walking.
It's been walking.
It's been walking for a while.
It's been walking.
It's about to. What's like a benchmark for like 3-year-olds?
3-year-olds? I don't know, like sentences.
Sentence. I mean, I guess.
They're saying like I want a juice box. Or,
I want a juice box.
Yeah. Four-year-olds have it made.
4-year-olds.
4-year-olds really can.
So you're saying like next spring.
Yeah, so next spring you're gonna have someone that's able to argue with you and counterbalance.
Oh
and,
shoot, dude! I don't know if that's a good thing.
Yeah, so I don't know. Like you might be trying to like add more ideas, and then your script just says to you, "No, Josh, this is terrible."
I actually started a new piece. Actually, I'm starting to work on a new musical already.
Oh really?
Since To Be Alive is kind of like already in the works, I thought like might as well just get a head start on my next project.
That's awesome. Is it also a musical? Or?
It is also a musical.
Whoa.
I'm in the huge like story writing process of it and just brainstorming what I want the story and the characters to be.
No, we'll talk afterwards. You can tell me the deets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Keep it secret. You don't want those. Don't want the stands out there to try and steal your thing.
I feel you.
Yeah.
I feel you.
I'm working on a script. I'm working on a script right now that I'm hoping to produce somewhere next summer with some people.
Oh, really? Where?
I'm considering renting out the 10th Avenue Arts Center.
Ooh.
It's expensive AF though.
No, but that would be be awesome.
Because I can't do Fringe next year.
Why not?
Because it's Italy, and then also since I'm like at this point I'm like, you know what, I'm going to be in Italy anyway. This is going to be like a once in a lifetime thing, and so after I'm done with the program, I'm going to go and do Eurailing. I'm going to go hit some like other European countries and just check it out, because I figure
That's
like
awesome.
I'm young, I'm like free in the world, and I'll it's my to be alive moment, you might say. So I'm gonna
hashtag to be alive moment.
To be alive moment. This could be an internet campaign.
Honestly could.
See, like the way you can use social media against you or for you. This is for you.
This is definitely for me. Hashtag to be alive moment.
This is definitely for you.
This podcast, my to be alive moment for the day.
Hey, nice. I gotta get a picture of you after this is over.
Hey,
the Insta's been lacking.
I'm not down. I'm not down. I'm not down.
Not
Wait,
down.
not. Yeah, that works.
Is that a song in To Be Alive, or that's just?
It can be.
It can be.
It can be.
I don't know. You're still revising, so I could ghostwrite for you. I got some raps.
You got some beats?
I got some beats from 6th grade. Phil Starr can make his debut finally.
Let's have one rap song in the show.
Oh my god. A friend and I were tinkering with a musical recently.
Okay.
And we were thinking of trying to produce it. It's a crazy idea.
Really?
Yeah.
Can you tell me about it?
It's an Oedipus Rex musical.
Oh my goodness.
It was his idea, and so I've written a couple songs for it.
Okay.
Like I fleshed out a couple songs and different arrangements,
Phillip the songwriter right now?
Yeah, I was tinkering with some songwriting as of late. But there were a few, because I sometimes, like what you were saying earlier, I'm sometimes in the shower and I like have like a tune in my head or something, and I'm like, man, I wish I knew how to play an instrument or something. I feel like I have something I could contribute, something, I don't know, but
those are the best though. When you
Yeah.
think of something in the shower and you just have to run out flopping out, and then you're just
what I love about musicals is that because plays can easily lag
I
you know,
yeah, I see
like
what you're saying.
pacing with
Yeah.
plays. You know, if it's not done correctly, it can lag or just you know, it's hard, and especially because of social media, since we're constantly entertained 24/7.
Exactly.
It's even harder now.
It's
Everyone's
actually hard.
attention spans are.
It's literally like a span of a fly.
We see more images. We see more images in a day than the average human did in like the 1940s,
Are you serious?
like in their lifetime.
Are you serious?
I'm being dead serious. Like, we see thousands of images a day.
I mean,
like, we're constantly just opening our phones and
you're
looking
right,
at.
though.
Yeah,
You're absolutely right.
it's crazy. And so I don't even know. I have no idea what the future is going to hold with it, because I already feel like it's so crazy, and it's just.
I know. Yeah.
I don't know. I hope that we still have social skills and we're still able to communicate as we do now.
I mean, I'm excited for what the future holds. But like what you
the
said,
Roaring 20s.
the Roaring 20s.
Yeah, the 2020s.
The 2020s.
Yeah. All these posts are like, I'm going to party like it's the 1920s and the 2020s.
The 2020. Oh my god. Wait, I don't know if that's a good thing.
Maybe not. I don't
Oh
know.
no, that's a good
I
thing.
don't know. They're gonna outlaw. It's gonna be prohibition again, and everyone's gonna be in their speakeasies and. Yeah.
That'd be cool to write a show like in the 1920s actually. But I feel like there's already been enough shows written about the 1920s.
I was almost in a production of The Great Gatsby.
Really?
Yeah, it's a play version of The Great Gatsby, and it's like we almost did it.
That's insane.
Yeah. But you know, that's for another time.
That's for another time.
Is there anything else you want to quickly say about To Be Alive, or do we cover?
To Be Alive, if you guys want to audition, it's this Friday from 3 to 5. Sign up at tobealive.page.link/audition. And we open February 15th, and we run until the 17th of February.
February 15th.
February 15th, day after Valentine's Day.
How many performances are you going to have?
We're going to have 4 performances. And this is going to be in the Don Powell Theater on the main stage.
Whoa, so it's not even in an experimental. It's in the main.
It's
oh
on
my
the main
God.
stage.
I didn't know that.
You thought it was in the experimental?
I just assumed. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
You were saying like intimate and this and that. I'm like, oh yeah, experimental, but no, main stage.
We're on the main stage,
that's
buddy.
So sick. I'm really proud of you.
Great, thank you. Buddy.
Great job. This is
absolutely.
I really hope I can get a bootleg or something, because this is it's really amazing what you're doing, and I wish you the best of luck, break legs with this musical. It's going to be a good time.
You're the man, Phillip. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Josh. This is Mainstage Mavericks saying have a great day, everybody.